just material objects. People can't just be machines because machines can't reason. Machines can't think. And I said, that doesn't seem to be a compelling argument. After all, chess-playing computers, it seems, can reason. They have beliefs about what I'm likely to do next. They have desires about the goals that they're trying to achieve. They reason about how best to defeat me. No machine could feel. We have emotions. We love. We're afraid. We're worried. We get elated. We get depressed. So perhaps the argument should go, yeah, thinking, that's the sort of thing a machine can do. We call them thinking machines. But feeling, that's the sort of thing no machine could do. No purely physical object could feel anything, could have emotions. And so, since we clearly do feel things, there must be more to us than a physical object. Now, I think it is plausible to suggest that unlike the case of chess-playing computers, we don't yet have machines that feel things. So, but the question isn't, do we? The question is, could there be a machine that could feel something, could have an emotion of some sort? Reason to be afraid, it's behaving appropriately, it's telling us that it's afraid, it seems science fiction, but the fact that we can grasp and, it's not as though we go running away saying, oh no, this was outrageous, right? Aspects of feelings, two aspects of emotions. There's the behavioral aspect of feeling fear, let's say. The behavioral aspect is when you're aware in the environment of something that poses a danger to you, that will harm you or destroy you, or in the case of a computer program, turn you off, then you take various kinds of behaviors in the opposition to that to try to disarm the danger, to try to neutralize it. This is just a matter of beliefs, goals, responses, planning, the sort of thing that we already saw the chess-playing computer can do. That behavioral side of emotion seems pretty plausible to think robots could do that. Physical objects could do that. But, and here's the crucial point of this objection, there's another side or another aspect to emotions and feelings. It's the sensation of what it's feeling like. That's why we call them feelings, after all. What it's feeling like on the inside, as it were, while all this behavioral stuff's going on. When I'm afraid, I have this certain sort of clammy feeling, or my heart's going poundingly, your blood is racing, right? When you're afraid, you've got this sinking feeling in the stomach. When you're depressed, there are these, well, we could call them experiences, though the word experience is also somewhat ambiguous. So we'll use it for the moment. There's an experience that goes along with each emotion. There's what it feels like to you when you're afraid. What it feels like to you when you're worried or depressed or joyful or in love. And the thought, and I think this is a pretty powerful thought, is that even if the robots are behaving behaviorally, they've got the behavior side of the emotions down, they don't have the feeling side at all. Now, once you start thinking these thoughts, there's no need to restrict yourself to emotions. The missing stuff, the missing thing is there in all sorts of familiar humdrum ways as well. So right now I'm looking at the chairs in the auditorium. There's some kind of shade of blue. Think of it doesn't have that sensation at all. It's sorting things based on the light frequencies, but it doesn't have the experience of seeing red. What we're trying to get at here is it can be very elusive, but I imagine most of you are familiar with it. It's the sort of thing you wonder about when you ask yourself, if somebody was born blind, could he possibly know what it's like to see color? He might be a scientist and know all sorts of things about how light works. These such and such frequencies and which objects. You hand him an apple and he'll say, oh, must be very red, right? Maybe he points his little light detector at it and it reads out. It says, this is such and such a frequency. He says, oh, this is a very red apple. Much redder than that tomato or whatever. But for all that, we've got the notion, not only is he not seeing red, he can't even imagine what it's like to see red, never having had these experiences. And once you start to see this, we realize, of course, our life is filled with this aspect. What's it like to smell coffee? Build a machine that can be conscious in this. But that's not to say that I think we should be convinced. Life, the life of plants. A plant is a living thing. And we ask ourselves, could it possibly be that life could be explained in material terms? In material terms. But that didn't mean it couldn't be done. Explanation, but who's got the better explanation? And before we... Good. So the question was, first was the accusation before the question, that I'm holding a sort of double standard. I'm defending the physicalist by saying, don't blame us, we don't know how to explain it yet. Why aren't I allowing the soul theory to say, don't blame us, we don't know how to explain it yet? List of things there are is we write new pieces of music, we write poems, we prove things in math.